Steve Hart stares at the ground level of the building. Notices something weird. Steve Hart immediately has a premonition disintegrated within the window. The building's walls were cracking, and the windows were cracking too. However, Troy Harding, behind Steve Hart, noticed that the building really was cracking. And Steve Hart immediately flipped to reality, stands up on the top of the staircase, looks around the building, and the remaining surviving males, along with Sidney Tracy, looked around them. Sidney Tracy flipped to reality from crying, dried her tears immediately, and the group looked around. The walls within the building cracked, shattered, and started to buckle, showing signs that the building was about to collapse. Steve Hart stares directly at the window and the floor at the bottom of the staircase. And responds, "Fucking move!" The remaining surviving males and Sidney Tracy follow Steve Hart as they all run down the staircase. The building collapsed. The ceiling caved in the area where they had been standing. They all run down the staircase at the same time. George was not too far behind. However, George, who was not too far behind, makes it to the bottom level of the building. However, the group escaped the building. However, the door in front of George slams directly shut in front of him, and twirls and engages locked shut. George avoids various collapsing building pieces as it smashed directly in front of the main door. He tries to escape with the window, but the building collapsed, causing a building piece to slam in front of the window, trapping him. He attempts to run the opposite direction. Sidney Tracy Death Chan cocks the dagger, notices that George Bryer was gone. Sidney yells George's name. George! George Bryer is seen running down the hallway to the back exit as the building collapsed continuously. The main back exit was blocked and couldn't open. He tried to use his strength and muscle mass to force it open, and it opened little by little. The emergency exit then eventually banged open as the building collapsed. A piece of the collapsing building fell behind him. The building continued to collapse, and as soon as he opened the main back door, the building collapsed completely. He managed to use his muscle for strength to open the main door. However, the main exit door was, however, a prelude of things to come. He pushed the main door open and then ran down the alleyway. The building collapsed almost immediately as a result. Greg Harding then grabbed Sidney Tracy and in slow motion, they both ran off screen as the building collapsed completely behind them. The group, Troy Harding ducks out of the way at the same time as Steve Hart. Troy Harding grabs Steve Hart and they both slam to the ground. The roof's attire then breaks free off the main hooding itself into a semi-truck, which counteractively swerves in circles multiple directions. The building collapse forced George Bryer directly into the semi-truck's path, and the semi-truck swerved in circles multiple times before it smashed George Bryer directly to his death from the concrete.